William Carter stared out the viewport at the swirling colors of the nebula beyond. The view from Galactic Council Station Alpha was breathtaking, but after 3 years, even this wonder had lost its charm. He straightened his blue diplomatic uniform and sighed. Another day, another denial, Lisa Morgan said as she joined him. Her datapad displayed the results of their latest proposal. Rejected, like all the others. 3 years, Lisa. 3 years of "we'll consider it," and humanity isn't quite ready, William said. I'm starting to think they never intended to let us join. The Galactic Council chamber lay empty now. Hours earlier, it had been filled with the representatives of 27 spacefaring civilizations. Humans were only there as observers and petitioners, not full members. The Zalaxians blocked us again, Lisa said, brushing a strand of blonde hair from her face. Ambassador Krell called our faster-than-light drive modifications interesting but underdeveloped. Yet I saw his aide copying our schematics during the break. William nodded. This pattern had become familiar. Human innovations were publicly dismissed, then privately studied and copied. Earth had shared openly, hoping to prove their worth to the galactic community. All they received in return were patronizing smiles and delays. Commander Davis sent a message from Earth, Lisa said, her voice lower now. Our satellites caught 3 council ships scanning our outer colonies last week. Unauthorized. William's jaw tightened. Did they mention it to us? Of course not. The doors slid open, and a tall, blue-skinned figure entered. Ambassador Krell of the Zalaxian Empire stood nearly 7 feet tall, his 4 eyes blinking in sequence. Ambassador Carter, Krell said, his translator making his clicks and whistles sound almost human. I trust you are not too disappointed by today's vote. Perhaps in another cycle or 2, Earth will be ready for the responsibilities of membership. William forced a smile. We've been ready for years, Ambassador. I wonder what the real holdup might be. Krell's upper eyes narrowed. The Council has standards, human. Your species has barely left its gravity well. 50 years of spaceflight is nothing compared to the millennia of experience other members bring. Yet in those 50 years, we've developed technologies that your engineers are eager to study, Lisa said. Primitive versions of existing tools, Krell said with a dismissive wave of his 3-fingered hand. Charming but unrefined. Like your species. After Krell left, William checked that they were truly alone. Send a message to Earth. Request a private channel with the Security Council. I think it's time we discussed our options. Later that night, in their secure quarters, William and Lisa reviewed the day's events with Paul Martins, Earth's defense chief, via encrypted channel. It's the same story here, Paul said, his face serious on the screen. They visit Earth as cultural exchanges, but spend their time gathering intel on our military capabilities. The Council is assessing us as a potential threat, not a potential member. We've given them everything they asked for, William said. Adjusted our laws, shared our technology, offered our resources. What more do they want? Submission, Lisa said quietly. They don't want partners. They want species they can control. Paul nodded. The Security Council is reaching the same conclusion. We're preparing contingency plans. Such as? William asked. If diplomacy has failed after 3 years of good faith efforts, perhaps it's time Earth showed the Council what they're dismissing, Paul replied. We've been holding back our most advanced projects as a sign of respect for Council protocols. William looked at the stack of rejection notices on his desk. Tell them to proceed with the contingencies, and inform Earth leadership that I'll need to address the full Council soon. It's time we were honest with them about where we stand. As the call ended, William looked back at the nebula. Its beauty remained unchanged, but his perspective had shifted entirely. The stars no longer represented opportunity. They now symbolized a challenge humanity would have to face alone. The Galactic Council chamber buzzed with activity. All 27 member species had gathered for what was supposed to be a routine session. William Carter sat straighter in his chair, his face calm despite the storm brewing inside him. Lissa Morgan glanced at him, concern in her eyes. "Are you sure about this?" she whispered. William nodded once. "It's time." Grand Elder Vextora, a thin creature with pale skin and elongated fingers, called the session to order. His species, the Vex, had founded the Council 10,000 years ago and still held the highest positions. "Today we discuss technological sharing protocols," Vextora announced, his voice soft yet carrying throughout the chamber. "The Phyrexian delegation has expressed concerns about human data security standards." Ambassador Jurl of the Phyrexians stood up. His rocky skin glinted under the chamber lights. "Humans store sensitive information in ways our experts consider primitive. We recommend denying their access to Council databases until they improve." William watched as several ambassadors nodded in agreement. This was the final push he needed. "If I may address the Council," William said, standing before being recognized. Several ambassadors muttered at this breach of protocol. "The human observer may speak," Vextora said, his tone suggesting he was granting a great favor. William activated his datapad, and images appeared on the main display. They showed Phyrexian ships in Earth orbit, scanning Earth's defense systems. "These images were taken 3 days ago," William said. "Interesting that Ambassador Jurl criticizes our security while his ships attempt to breach it." The chamber erupted in noise. Jurl shouted denials. "There's more," William continued, displaying new images. Zalaxian engineers reverse engineering human water purification systems. Mardek scientists copying our agricultural methods, all while publicly calling our technology underdeveloped. Lisa stood up and joined him, adding, "For 3 years, Earth has shared openly and honestly. We came to learn and contribute. Instead, you've stolen our innovations while blocking our membership." Grand Elder Vextora raised his hands for quiet. "These are serious accusations, Ambassador Carter. The Council does not steal. We evaluate and integrate beneficial technologies for all, without credit or compensation," William replied. "We've tracked 47 human innovations now used throughout Council space. Not once has Earth been acknowledged." Ambassador Krell stood up, his blue skin darkening with anger. "Humans exaggerate their contributions. Your species is barely out of its stone age compared to most of us." William smiled without humor. "Yet you find our stone age tools worth stealing." "Enough," Vextora said. "Ambassador Carter, your emotional outburst disrupts Council harmony. Perhaps humans are not ready for membership if this is how you conduct yourselves." The chamber grew quiet. William looked around at the faces of the various species. Some showed shock, others contempt, a few showed shame. "You're right about one thing, Elder Vextora," William said finally. "Humans are not ready for Council membership. Not because we fall short, but because the Council falls short of what we expected." He pressed a button on his datapad. "I have just transmitted Earth's formal withdrawal from all Council negotiations. We will no longer seek membership in an organization that treats us with such dishonesty." Gasps echoed through the chamber. This had never happened before. Species begged to join the Council. None had ever walked away. "This is merely a negotiating tactic," Krell said, but uncertainty tinged his voice. "No, Ambassador," Lisa replied. "This is goodbye." William closed his datapad. "Earth's delegation will depart tomorrow. Any Council representatives on Earth have 72 hours to leave. You can't survive out there alone. Call the Mardek representative." William looked at him calmly. "We did fine before we met you. I suspect we'll do even better now." As they walked out, leaving stunned silence behind them, Lisa whispered, "Think they'll take us seriously now?" "They will," William replied. "But by then, it will be too late." The Earth delegation's ship broke orbit from the Council station. William stood on the bridge, watching as the massive structure grew smaller on the view screen. Most of his team looked relieved. 3 years of frustration was finally over. "Course set for Earth," the pilot announced. "We'll arrive in 2 days." Lisa joined William at the viewport. I received 17 urgent messages from various ambassadors in the last hour. They're starting to worry. Good, William said. Let them worry. Back on Earth, news of the withdrawal spread quickly. People had mixed feelings. Some feared standing alone in a hostile galaxy. Others felt pride that humanity had finally stood up for itself. 5 days after their return, William and Lisa entered the secure meeting room beneath Geneva. Leaders from every major Earth nation waited inside. Admiral Paul Martinez and Intelligence Director Catherine Hudson sat at the head of the table. Ambassador Carter, Paul said, your actions have caused quite a stir. The Council has sent 3 official requests asking us to reconsider. William took his seat. Have they offered any actual changes to their approach? No, Catherine replied. Just vague promises to address our concerns and speed up the membership process. The room grew quiet as Catherine activated a large screen. It showed a map of human colonies and outposts. Small red dots marked each location where Council ships had been detected conducting unauthorized scans. This is what they've been doing while smiling to our faces, Catherine said. We've identified spy networks on 5 of our worlds. Their agents have attempted to access our military databases 14 times in the past year alone. The president of the African Union leaned forward. What do they want from us? Our technology, Paul said. Despite what they claim, humanity has developed solutions they haven't thought of. Our AI programming is more creative. Our medical nanites more efficient. Our mining techniques less destructive. They want it all, but they don't want to admit we're their equals. Lisa added, they expect us to hand everything over while they decide if we're worthy of joining their club. They'd been doing this to younger species for thousands of years. William looked around the table. The question is, what do we do now? Catherine pressed another button, and the screen changed to show a complex diagram. We've been developing this contingency plan for the past year. We call it Protocol Exodus. The leaders listened intently as Catherine explained. Earth would withdraw completely from galactic affairs. All human citizens would return from Council space. All trade would cease. All diplomatic channels would close. And this? The Chinese premier asked, pointing to the most complex part of the diagram. The shield, Paul said. Our most advanced project. A way to hide the entire Sol system from detection. They believe our technology is primitive. Let's show them how wrong they are. Debate raged for hours. Some argued for more diplomacy. Others wanted an aggressive approach. But as evidence of Council dishonesty mounted, consensus grew. The vote was nearly unanimous. Earth would withdraw and activate Protocol Exodus. We need to inform our people, the American president said. This will affect everyone. William nodded. We should hold a global referendum. Let humanity decide its future. 3 weeks later, the results came in. Over 80% of Earth's population voted to support withdrawal and isolation. From his office overlooking Lake Geneva, William composed one final message to the Galactic Council. To all Council representatives, Earth has spoken. By overwhelming majority, we have decided to end all relations with the Galactic Council. All human citizens and businesses have 30 days to return to Earth space. All Council representatives must depart Earth within the same time frame. After that period, any Council vessels entering our system will be considered hostile. This decision is final and non-negotiable. May you find the wisdom we found lacking in our interactions. William Carter, Final Ambassador of Earth. Lisa read it over his shoulder. So it begins, she said quietly. William nodded. No, so it ends. And something new begins. Grand Elder Vextora gazed around the council chamber with satisfaction. The human seats stood empty. 3 weeks had passed since Earth's dramatic departure, and the initial shock had faded. The humans will return, Ambassador Krell declared confidently. They cannot survive without council protection. The galaxy is too dangerous for a lone species. Most representatives nodded in agreement. Only Zilnar of the Arthosian Collective looked troubled, her feathered crest flat against her head in worry. "I believe we have made a grave error," she said. "Humans are not like other species. They do not think as we do." Krell laughed, a clicking sound that echoed in the chamber. "They are primitive and emotional. They will realize their mistakes soon enough." Vextora raised his hand for quiet. "Let us move on to more important matters. The Draxian Mining Guild requests." An aide rushed into the chamber, breaking all protocol. The small green creature whispered urgently to Vextora, whose elongated face showed surprise for the first time in decades. "This session is paused," Vextora announced. "The High Council will reconvene in private immediately." In the smaller chamber reserved for emergencies, Vextora faced the 7 most powerful members of the Council. All human diplomats, businesses, and citizens have vanished from Council space, he said without preamble. "Not a single human remains on any world or station under our jurisdiction." Krell's 4 eyes blinked rapidly. "Impossible. There were over 2 million humans spread across our territories." "All gone," Vextora confirmed. "Our intelligence services report they began departing quietly weeks ago. The last transport left this morning." "Where did they go?" asked the Mardic representative. "Back to Earth, presumably," Vextora replied. "But we cannot confirm. All our communication channels with the Sol system have been cut." The representatives looked at each other with growing concern. This was unprecedented. Even during wars between Council members, communication lines remained open. "We must send observers," Krell insisted. "This behavior is highly suspicious." 3 days later, the Council received the report from the first scout ships sent to Earth space. The vessels had been stopped at the edge of the Sol system by human patrol ships. They refused entry to Council vessels, the captain reported. They were polite but firm. No Council ships are permitted in Earth space under any circumstances. Weeks passed. No word came from Earth. Council spies attempted to infiltrate the Sol system but were caught and sent away. The silence was unnerving. The first real problems appeared in unexpected places. On Xerxes IV, a farming colony, crop yields dropped by 30% without human agricultural consultants. On Krell's homeworld, the new water filtration system failed without human engineers to maintain it. Similar reports came from across Council space. Small issues at first, growing larger as time passed. Human innovations had spread throughout the galaxy, but few understood how they truly worked. Only humans could maintain their creations properly. "This is a deliberate attack," Krell insisted during an emergency session. "They knew we relied on their technology." Zilnar shook her head. "No, Ambassador. We stole their innovations without understanding them. We claimed they were primitive while becoming dependent on their genius. This is our failure, not their attack." A junior aide entered with another report, his hands shaking. "We've lost all sensor data on the Sol system," he announced. "Impossible," Vextora said. "The system contains a G-type star. It cannot simply vanish. Our sensors show only empty space where Sol should be," the aide insisted. The Council members stared at each other in silence. What the aide described should not be possible with any known technology. "Perhaps," Zilnar said into the silence, "we should reconsider our assessment of human capabilities." For the first time in its long history, the Galactic Council felt something new. Within the hidden Sol system, Earth buzzed with activity. The shield, as they called it, worked perfectly. From the outside, sensors detected nothing. From the inside, humans could see everything beyond their protective bubble. William Carter stood in the new Earth Defense Command Center beneath the Rocky Mountains. Massive screens showed the positions of Council scout ships searching for the vanished solar system. "They've sent 15 more vessels this week," Admiral Paul Martinez said. "They're getting desperate." Catherine Hudson nodded. "Our listening posts report panic in some Council sectors. Without human engineers, several of their systems are failing." William felt no joy in this news. That wasn't our goal. We just wanted to be left alone. Sometimes people only value what they've lost, Lisa Morgan said as she entered the room. She had been promoted to Director of Galactic Affairs, though there were few affairs to direct these days. How are the projects progressing? William asked. Catherine tapped a command, and the main screen changed to show construction throughout the solar system. Massive shipyards orbited Jupiter. Research stations surrounded Venus. Mining operations on Mercury worked at full capacity. Free from Council restrictions, our development has accelerated beyond all projections, Catherine said. The advances we've made in 3 months would have taken decades under Council oversight. A young officer approached with a data tablet. Sir, we've detected unusual activity near the shield perimeter. A single ship, not Council design. The main screen shifted to show a small vessel hovering just outside the shield's boundary. Its design was unfamiliar. Arthosian, Lisa said immediately. That's one of their scout ships. They were among the few who treated us fairly, William noted. What are they doing? The ship made no attempt to breach the shield. Instead, it remained stationary, broadcasting a simple message on repeat. It's audio only, the communications officer reported. Directed specifically at us. Let's hear it, Paul ordered. A familiar voice filled the command center. This is Zilnar of the Arthosian Collective. I come alone and unarmed. The Council does not know I am here. If you can hear me, humans of Earth, know that not all species supported the Council's treatment of your kind. Some of us valued your friendship. Some of us miss your presence. I will wait here for 3 days in hopes of a response. The room fell silent after the message ended. Could be a trick, Paul suggested. Lisa shook her head. I knew Zilnar. She was one of the few who spoke up for us. William considered the options. Can we communicate without revealing the shield's technology? Catherine nodded. We can open a narrowband channel. It would appear to come from a cloaked ship, not the shield itself. Do it, William decided. Hours later, Zilnar sat alone in William's office, her feathered crest raised in amazement. The shield is beyond anything the Council believed possible, she said. They think you're building weapons behind it. We're building a future, William corrected. One where humanity determines its own path. Zilnar's multifaceted eyes reflected the light. The Council is fracturing without human innovation. Smaller species who relied on your technologies are suffering the most. That was not our intention, Lisa said. Nevertheless, it is happening, Zilnar replied. 4 systems have already broken from the Council, declaring themselves independent. Others will follow. And why have you come? William asked directly. Zilnar's crest flattened slightly. To warn you. The Council has discovered something in deep space, something that frightens even Vextora. They called it the darkness in their sealed communications. A threat? Paul asked. A certainty, Zilnar said. And it's heading toward Council space. Without humanity, without your unique approach to problems, the Council believes we cannot stop it. William looked at his colleagues, their faces serious in the dim light. So after dismissing us as primitives, he said slowly, they now think we're their only hope. Yes, Zilnar confirmed, though they would never admit it so plainly. 1 year had passed since Earth vanished behind its shield. In the Council chambers, the mood was grim. Representatives from 16 worlds sat around the table, less than half the original membership. The others had left, forming their own alliances or choosing isolation like Earth. Grand Elder Vextora looked older, his skin more pale and translucent than before. The crisis had taken its toll. The economic reports are clear, he said, his voice weaker than in past years. 9 more worlds face system-wide bankruptcy, without human trade and technology. Ambassador Krell slammed his 3-fingered hand on the table. We survived millions of years before humans. We don't need them. The numbers disagree, said the Fraxian financial minister. Human goods made up 12% of total Council trade. Their sudden absence created a hole we cannot fill. Krell's blue skin darkened with anger. Then we will take what we need. If humans won't share willingly, we should force them. Zillinar, who had returned from her secret mission without revealing where she had been, spoke up. With what fleet, Ambassador? Our military relied heavily on human-designed components. Half our ships are grounded with systems we cannot repair. The chamber fell silent. This truth hurt most of all. In their arrogance, the Council had integrated human technology without fully understanding it. Now they paid the price. There is also the matter of the darkness, Vextora said quietly. On a large screen, images appeared of an enormous cloud moving through space. It consumed everything in its path. Planets, stars, even light itself. It has devoured 3 star systems in the past month. Vextora continued. Our scientists cannot explain it or stop it. Its current path will bring it to Council space within 2 years. We must evacuate, suggested one representative. To where? Asked another. It appears capable of following us wherever we go. Krell stood up suddenly. We need the humans, he admitted, the words clearly painful for him. Their shield technology might protect us. Their scientists might find a solution. After how we treated them. Zilnar asked, why would they help us now? No one had an answer. Far from this debate, on a small planet at the edge of Council space, a curious meeting took place. Jason Miller had been born on Earth, but had chosen Nelvari citizenship decades ago. He understood both humans and Council species better than most. Across from him sat a human woman in a simple gray uniform. She had arrived in a ship that appeared from nowhere, requesting this meeting. The shield has advantages and disadvantages, she explained. We see everything outside, but few people know what's happening out here. Jason nodded. That's why I stayed. Someone needed to watch and report. And what have you seen, Jason? He took a deep breath. The Council is collapsing. Without human innovation, their economy is failing. Smaller worlds suffer most. There's also something coming, a space anomaly they call the darkness. The woman nodded. We've detected it. Our scientists are studying it now. They're desperate, Jason continued. Yesterday, they voted to send a high-level delegation to Sol. They plan to beg for Earth's help. The woman smiled slightly. They'll find no one home. Jason looked confused. What do you mean? The shield doesn't just hide us, Jason. It can move us. Her eyes showed pride. Earth relocated 3 months ago. We're now 50 light years from our original position. Jason's mouth fell open. That's impossible. An entire star system can't move. Many things were called impossible before humans did them, she replied. The Council never understood what they were dismissing. She rose to leave. Earth Defense Command thanks you for your service, Jason. Would you like to come home now? There's room on my ship. Jason looked around at the world he called home for years. The Nelvari had been kind to him, but they weren't his people. Yes, he said finally. I think it's time. 5 years had passed since Earth's delegation walked out of the Council chambers. In that time, humanity had flourished in isolation. Free from Council restrictions, human innovation exploded. The shield not only hid and moved the entire solar system, but also allowed humans to reach out to non-Council species who had been ignored or rejected. William Carter, now older with streaks of gray in his hair, stood on the observation deck of Earth's new space station. The massive structure orbited Earth at a comfortable distance, serving as both defense headquarters and diplomatic center for humanity's new allies. Admiral Carter, they're ready for you, said a young officer. William smiled at the title. Much had changed in 5 years. In the command center, Lisa Morgan waited with Catherine Hudson and Paul Martinez. All had aged, but there was a confidence in their bearing that hadn't existed before. The Council delegation has arrived at the coordinates we provided, Lisa reported. 5 ships, as agreed. William nodded. Have they followed our instructions? To the letter, Catherine confirmed. They're alone, unarmed, and broadcasting on the frequencies we specified. "Then it's time," William said. Across the room, technicians began the complex process of partially lowering the shield, not enough to reveal Earth's location, but enough to allow communication and limited visual contact. On the main screen, 5 council ships appeared. They looked smaller somehow, less impressive than William remembered. "Open the channel," he ordered. The face of Grand Elder Vextora appeared on screen. The once proud leader looked tired and defeated. "Admiral Carter," Vextora said, using William's new title. "On behalf of the Galactic Council, I thank you for responding to our message." 5 years is a long time to wait for a response, Elder, William replied calmly. Vextora's long fingers twitched nervously. "We understand your reluctance to speak with us. Our treatment of humanity was incorrect." From his position, Ambassador Krull could be seen in the background, his blue skin now faded to a pale cyan. He looked away when William's gaze fell on him. "We face extinction, Admiral," Vextora continued. "The darkness has consumed 12 systems. Our best scientists cannot stop it or even explain it. We request Earth's assistance." William kept his face neutral. "And why would we help those who dismissed us as primitives?" "Because humans value life," Vextora said simply. "Even the lives of those who wronged you." The command center fell silent. This was the moment they had prepared for. Earth's sensors had tracked the darkness for years. Their scientists had studied it from afar while developing countermeasures. William looked at his colleagues. Paul nodded slightly. "We are prepared to share our research on the darkness," William said finally, "but not as supplicants to the Council. Earth will never again bow to your authority." Vextora's relief was visible. "Anything you ask. Any terms." "Here are our terms," William said. "Earth will lead an independent coalition to combat this threat. Any world may join us, Council member or not. We will share our technology freely with our allies." "And the Council?" Vextora asked hesitantly. "May continue to exist, but its monopoly on galactic power ends today," William stated firmly. "The age of keeping younger species down is over." He pressed a button, and the shield partially lowered further, revealing glimpses of massive Earth vessels and orbital structures that shouldn't have been possible with the technology humans possessed 5 years ago. Vextora's eyes widened. "How did you advance so quickly?" "By working together rather than competing," Lisa explained. "By valuing innovation rather than tradition. By looking forward instead of clinging to the past." William leaned forward. "Our message to all worlds will broadcast in 1 hour. Choose now, Elder Vextora. Will the Council join us as equals, or will you face the darkness alone?" The Elder looked at his colleagues, then back at the screen. "We will join you," he said, "as equals." William nodded once. "Then let us begin again." The new Galactic Assembly Hall dwarfed the old Council chambers. Built in neutral space, it featured a circular design where all representatives sat at equal distances from the center. No species held positions of special privilege. No ancient traditions dictated who could speak first. Ambassador Eric Daniels adjusted his formal uniform as he prepared to address the gathered representatives. After 5 years serving as Earth's military attaché on the front lines against the darkness, he had been chosen to represent humanity in this historic moment. Beside him stood Olivia Wright, Earth's chief diplomat. "Ready?" she asked quietly. Eric nodded. "As ready as anyone can be to change history." The chamber quieted as Eric stepped to the central podium. Representatives from over 50 worlds watched him. Some were former council members. Others came from species that had never been invited to join the old power structure. 5 years ago, Earth walked away from what we believed was an unfair system, Eric began. We did not know then that our departure would trigger such profound change, or that we would face a threat like the darkness. Images appeared above the assembly, showing the massive cloud of energy that had consumed so many worlds. Together, we have pushed back this threat. The combined shield technology has protected 23 systems. Our joint research teams have discovered ways to dissipate the darkness at its edges. Murmurs of approval filled the chamber. The battle wasn't over, but for the first time, there was hope. Today marks the official end of the old council system and the beginning of something new, Eric continued. The Galactic Cooperative, where all species stand as equals, where innovation is shared, not stolen, where the strong protect the developing rather than exploit them. From his seat, Grand Elder Vextora watched with a complex mix of emotions. The Vex had ruled the council for 10,000 years. Now that era was over. Yet his people had survived, which seemed impossible just 1 year ago, when the darkness approached their homeworld. Ambassador Krell sat nearby, his once proud posture now humble. The Zalaxian Empire had suffered greatly, losing 3 colony worlds before Earth's shield technology saved their home planet. Humanity never wanted to rule, Eric said. We only wished to be treated fairly. When that wasn't possible under the old system, we created something better. Olivia stepped forward to join him. The cooperative charter has been signed by all 54 member worlds. Each has equal voting rights. Each contributes according to their abilities. Each receives according to their needs. Zilinar, now representing both the Arthosians and several smaller allied species, was the first to stand in approval. Others quickly followed. In the back of the chamber, William Carter watched with quiet satisfaction. Now retired from active service, he had been invited to witness this moment. Lisa Morgan stood beside him. "Did you ever imagine this outcome when we walked out of the council?" she asked. William shook his head. "I just wanted Earth to be treated with respect. This is far beyond what I dreamed possible." After the formal proceedings, William found himself face to face with Vextora. The elder had aged considerably, but his eyes still held wisdom. "We were wrong about humans," Vextora admitted. "We saw your adaptability as dangerous. We never considered it might save us all." "We were all wrong in different ways," William replied. "We thought we needed to prove ourselves worthy of the council. In reality, the council needed to prove itself worthy of its member species." Vextora nodded slowly. A hard lesson, but one well learned. As the gathering continued, representatives from dozens of worlds mingled freely. Old enemies became cautious allies. Former rivals shared technologies and ideas. Beyond the station windows, a joint fleet of ships patrolled space, each vessel combining the best innovations from multiple worlds. Eric joined William near the observation window. "So," he asked, "was it worth it, walking away that day?" William watched the diverse crowd, united now by common purpose rather than fear or tradition. "Some relationships," he said with a smile, "can only begin after walking away."